So the answer to the first question is, what is the interest rate on this bond? The answer is 10%. The second question, what is the rate of return on this bond? Answer? DUNNO. We don't know because we have not sold the bond yet. So when you buy the bond, you don't know the rate of return, but you do know interest rate because interest rate is calculated by assuming you hold the bond to the maturity. That is yield to maturity. Rate of return is the yield not to maturity. You sell it before the maturity date. And you don't know the selling price, therefore you don't know the rate of return when you're buying this bond. Okay, next question. Suppose that exactly the same bond, okay? Market interest rate increases from 10% to 20%. Wait a minute. Why is the current interest rate 10%? How do you know the current interest rate is 10%? The answer is because this bond is sold at par. That implies that the interest rate on this bond is 10%. That means this bond earns 10% interest rate on the market. That means the current market interest rate is 10%. That is why you are willing to pay $1,000 to buy this bond, because you are earning 10% interest rate just like the market interest rate. Therefore, this example, this question implies that the current market interest rate is 10%. Now the question says, suppose that the market interest rate increases from 10% to 20% next year. And if you want to sell the bond next year, how much money do people pay you to buy this bond? That is, what is the price you can sell this bond for? That is, how much money will people pay you to buy this bond? So, what is the bond price next year? The answer is the market price of this bond next year should be equal to the present value, the sum of the present value of all the future cash inflows. Alright, next year, this bond, how many coupons will this bond have next year at this time? The answer is there will be only 9 coupons, right? Because it's next year. This is a 10-year bond, and you sell this bond next year. You take 1 coupon out, so there are 9 coupons left. How much is the coupon payment? The answer is, again, 10% of 1,000, 10% of 1,000, 10% of 1,000, 10% of 1,000. How many of them? 9. When are you going to get the first? Not you, the guy who buys your bond next year. He is going to get the first coupon payments 2 years from now, right? And he is buying this bond next year. Therefore, you use the interest rate to discount the first coupon payment once, because he buys this bond next year. His first cash inflow is $100 the year after, so you discount this once. His second coupon payment is again $100. When did he get that? 3 years from now, but he buys this bond next year. Therefore, he will get the second coupon payment 2 years from when he's buying this bond. Therefore, you discount it twice. Same thing, you discount it 3 times. When is he going to get this last coupon payment? The answer is 9 years from the time he purchases your bond. That is next year. What is his last cash inflow? The answer is $1,000 face value. And when is he going to get it? Again, 9 years from the time he purchases this bond from you. That is, when he purchased this bond from you, this bond is actually a 9-year coupon bond. Because you took the first coupon. And there are 9 years left for expiration. Okay, now the interest rate. What is the interest rate this guy is going to use to discount his future cash inflows? The answer is he is going to use 20% the market interest rate at that time to discount his future cash inflows. And calculate the price next year of the bond. And he's going to pay this money to buy your bond. And that is the selling price of this bond next year. So you have all the numbers here. This is just the basic principle of finance. And this guy is doing this next year at the same time. So when you punch in your calculator, the answer is $597. So he is willing to pay you $597 so that he will earn 20% interest rate, just like everybody else in the market next year are earning. Market interest rate 20%. So you can only sell your bond for $597 next year. If you do that, what is your rate of return? Okay, what is your initial investment? Remember, you pay $1,000. How much money do you get from this investment? The answer is you sell it for $597, but don't forget that you get the first coupon payment because you hold the bond for 1 year. So you get $100 coupon payments. So you get a total of $697. So you get $697 and you invest $1,000. How much money do you earn? The answer is you lose $397. $303. You lose $303 out of your $1,000 investment. Therefore, your rate of return is negative 30.3%. That is the answer to this question. You lose 30.3% if you buy the bond at par when market interest rate is 10%, and then you sell 1 year later when the market interest rate is 20%. You lose 30.3%. This is actually one of the examples in table 2, on table 2 of your textbook. So in this example, yield to maturity when the bond is purchased by you is 10 years. And when the interest rate goes up from 10% to 20%, the price of the bond next year becomes $597. And you sell this bond after holding 1 year, then your rate of return is negative 30.3%. I will recommend you to do the exercise to get these numbers, the 5 years one and the 2 years one. The 2-year bond should be easy. You buy a 2-year bond today when market interest rate is 10%. You sell it after 1 year, and the guy who purchased your bond will hold the bond for 1 more year because this is a 2-year bond. And if the market interest rate goes up from 10% to 20%, this guy is going to pay you $917, and your rate of return will be 1.7%. Why don't we just do this exercise? So again, this is a 2-year bond. You purchase, so the 2-year bond, coupon bond, looks like this. Face value $1,000. Coupon value $100. And you pay at par. That is, you pay $1,000 to buy this bond. Because you paid at par, interest rate is equal to coupon rate, which is 10%. One year later, this bond looks like this. If you want to sell this bond, how much money can you sell this bond for? The answer is, how much money are people going to be willing to pay you to buy this bond? Well, they will calculate the value of this bond 1 year later. So when this guy buy your bond, how long will this guy hold this bond? The answer is 1 more year, because this is a 2-year bond. So when is he going to get his first coupon payment? The answer is $100 next year. So he's going to use next year interest rate, which is 20%, to discount his coupon payment that he's going to get a year later. A year later, he also get the face value, and he's going to use the market interest rate 20% at this time to discount this 1 year later. So you discount it once. So the price he's willing to pay should be equal to 917. Then what is your rate of return? The answer is you get $917, but you also get this coupon, $100. Therefore, you get a total of $1,017. You pay $1,000 to buy this bond, so you earn $17 out of your initial investment, $1,000. Therefore, your rate of return will be 1.7%. If you buy a 1-year bond, next year, how much money will you get? The answer is one coupon, $100. And how much can you sell this bond for? Well, this bond only has a face value, $1,000. So people are going to pay $1,000 to buy this bond and sell it right away and take it to the issuer, get $1,000 back? Well, people are not going to do that. You just do it by yourself. Then what you're earning, your rate of return is 10% because you get $100 coupon, and then you get $1,000 back. So your rate of return is exactly 10%. Key findings on this table. The first one, price and returns are more volatile for long-term bonds, longer-term bonds, shorter-term bonds. See, the price of a 30-year bond fluctuates from 1,000 to 503. The price of a 20-year bond fluctuates from $1,000 to $516. The price of a 2-year bond fluctuates from $1,000 to $917. The price of a 1-year bond fluctuates from 1,000 to 1,000, doesn't change. Therefore, the price is more volatile for longer-term bonds. Same thing here. Returns are more volatile for longer-term bonds. Why? Because longer-term bonds, you have to hold the bond for longer time. And interest rate may change from 10% to 20%. That is the interest rate risk. And if you have to hold the bond for a longer period of time, you're suffering this risk for a longer period of time. Second key finding. Bond with higher initial interest rate can still have negative return if interest rate goes up. Therefore, if the market interest rate is 10%, that's very high, right? Does that mean you should buy the bond now? The answer is no. Your decision on buying a bond is not dependent on the current interest rate. It depends on the change in interest rate after you buy the bond. If you buy a bond with a very high interest rate, but after you buy the bond, interest rate keep going up like 10% to 20%, then actually you lose money. If you don't hold it to the maturity date, your rate of return will be negative. Therefore, what matters is the change in interest rate after you buy the bond, not the level of the interest rate when you buy the bond. Key findings number 3. Return is equal to yield to maturity only if maturity is equal to the holding period. Only in this case. Do you see that? The rate of return is exactly the market interest rate if the terms to maturity is equal to holding period. Because what is interest rate? Interest rate is yield to maturity. What is rate of return? Rate of return is yield not to the maturity. But if you hold the bond till the maturity, then holding period is the maturity date, is the maturity. Therefore, yield not to maturity becomes yield to the maturity because you do hold to the maturity. Number 4, no interest rate risk for any bonds whose maturity equals holding period. Why? Because when maturity is equal to holding period, rate of return is equal to the interest rate. And when you buy the bond, you know the interest rate. So when the holding period equal to the maturity, then you will know the rate of return when you buy the bond, just like this example. Therefore, you know exactly how much return you are going to earn. In this example, 10% when you buy the bond. Therefore, there's no risk. You know what is going to happen when you are holding the bond. You are going to earn 10% interest rate and 10% rate of return.